Hey, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another What's for Dinner video. Alright, so this week I really wanted to help you implement some good soup recipes with fall here and winter coming. This week is a vegan fall soup What's for Dinner video. I have 3 different recipes in there for you. Really easy, really tasty, and all really hearty, good soup recipes. So I hope you enjoy it. I also just wanted to let you know that I did get a What I Eat in a Day video recorded, and it will be out for my very first one this Saturday. I feel like everything is kind of coming together a little better. I'm feeling a little more normal after having Daxton. We're 7 weeks postpartum, and so I'm gonna start putting out a second video a week. Thank you so much to all of you who have been so patient with me and enjoying the just one a week. And I hope that you enjoy my What I Eat in a Day videos. I'll also throw a few taste tests in there. Oh, we got a little fussy baby. But enjoy this video. I hope you love these soup recipes, and let's get eating. All right, welcome to tonight's dinner. So for tonight's dinner, it is a little bit chilly outside. Fall has officially come, and it's definitely a soup day. So we're gonna make a vegan version of Olive Garden's Zuppa Tuscana. So the first thing we're gonna do is, while I have olive oil heating in a pan, I'm gonna chop this onion so that we can get this in the pan and sauteing down. Alright, so I have my olive oil heated in a pan. I'm just going to add the onions in here, and we're going to start sauteing them down. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you probably noticed this is not a gas stove. It's electric. Sadly, my gas oven broke, and my landlord decided to replace it not just with an electric stove, but electric with coils, which is just super sad to me. If you like your electric stove, I have nothing against you using what you want to use, but I am a gas stove lover, so this was a little bit heartbreaking. So we're gonna let this saute down, and then we're gonna get our sausage kind of prepared to be cooked up next. So for our sausage, we're using our Gimme Lean Light Life sausage. You could even use like the field roast sausages and just slice them up. But what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to cook it in some olive oil I have heating up, separately from our onions. And then I'll chop it up and put it in with the onions. I'll deglaze the pan I cooked it in with a little vegetable broth and get all the brown, yummy, flavorful stuff into the soup pot. Honestly, I'm only doing it this way to speed up the process of cooking dinner. It's already past 5 o'clock, and if you've been watching me for a while, you know my husband is a welder, and so he has to wake up pretty early for work, and he goes to bed pretty early. So even past 6 o'clock for us, dinner is pretty late, so I'm trying to get it done as quickly as possible. So I'm just going to cook this into patties. And then once these are cooked up, we'll chop them into smaller pieces and add them to our soup. All right, no time to rest. While our onions are sauteing and our sausage is cooking, we're gonna cut up our yellow potatoes. You can use any kind of potato. These are what I happen to have in my house. So we're just gonna give all of these a really quick wash. Then we'll dice them up. Our onions are cooked down. They do have a little brown on them. That's good. That's going to add flavor. So I've turned my pan down. I turned it down well in advance because I'm cooking with electric now, whether I like it or not. That means I don't have as much control over the heat. So I'm adding a bunch of garlic. And we're just going to let this cook down on a very low heat for a couple minutes, and we're going to get our sausage and everything else ready to put into the soup. All right, our sausages are cooked up. We're just going to rough chop them real quick. These are going to go into the soup. They're hot, so be careful not to burn your fingers. Okay, so before I add my potatoes to the pot, I'm just going to season this. Got some sea salt, some black pepper, and a whole bunch of Italian seasoning. Probably about 2 tablespoons. I'm going to add a little more olive oil. We're just going to mix this. And then to the pan, I'm going to add some vegetable stock. We are adding 2 32-ounce boxes of stock. If you want to make your own stock, you totally can. But this mama was in a hurry today, and that didn't happen. This pan is probably going to be a little full, but oh well. Now we're just going to add our potatoes and our sausage. And then we're going to cook this over a medium heat for about 15 minutes until our potatoes are tender. Okay, so now that our potatoes are tender, we just have a couple more steps. I de-stemmed and tore up about 5 leaves of kale. We're just going to drop this in. That will cook down pretty quickly, so you don't want to put it in too early into the soup. And while this kale is cooking down, we're going to go over and make the cream part of our soup. Alright, for the cream part of our soup, we're just going to make a cashew cream. So I soaked about a cup of cashews for 4 hours. We're just going to drain that. And to our cashews, we're going to add some unsweetened almond milk up to the 16-ounce line in our Ninja blender. And then this really is just going to be replacing like a heavy cream in the soup. So we just need to season it a little bit. Salt. We'll add a little bit of pepper for good measure, because why not? And then about 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Looks like I need to buy some more nooch. I'm out. We're just going to puree this up till it's creamy, and we'll add it to our soup. Alright, we're going to add our cashew cream. Let it cook for about another 5 minutes, and then it's going to be ready to serve. Alright, welcome to dinner tonight. For tonight's dinner, we are making enchilada soup. It is another super easy dinner. Cooks up pretty quickly, and it's really hearty and delicious. So we're just going to start with chopping up 1 bell pepper, whatever color you want. And I have this giant onion. We're only going to use like 1/3 of it chopped up. We just added our bell pepper and onion to a soup pot with some olive oil. I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of minced garlic. And we're going to let this saute down a little bit. We're We're gonna add some salt. Pepper. A little garlic powder. Maybe about a teaspoon. We're gonna add some chili powder. About 2 teaspoons worth. And then we're also going to add about 1.5 teaspoons of cumin. We're going to let this kind of cook down and get fragrant and work on the rest of the ingredients while this is cooking up. Okay, so next I'm just going to dice up 4 red potatoes. I'm also going to open 2 cans of black beans and rinse them and get them ready to put in the soup. We're going to open 1 28-ounce can of fire roasted diced tomatoes, and then we also have a 32-ounce box of veggie broth. Once all of that is sauteed down, we're going to add all of these to our pot. Alright, so now that our peppers and onions and garlic are getting nice and sweaty, we are going to add 32 ounces of veggie broth. One 28-ounce can of fire roasted tomatoes, diced. Our 4 diced potatoes. You could also do rice in place of the potatoes. You just want some sort of a starch to kind of bulk up your soup for you. Our 2 cans of rinsed and drained black beans. And we are going to let this cook and simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes until our potatoes have softened, and then we will finish it all up. Alright, so now it's time for the final few touches for our soup. Oh, buddy. Oh, I'll be back. Okay, so it's time for the final few touches for our soup. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up this sweet corn. You could just put the corn right into your soup, but my 11-year-old doesn't like corn, so instead of him picking around it or us fighting over him eating it, I'm just going to put it on the side, and my husband and I will add it to our soup. I have about 1.5 cups of cashews that have been soaking, so we're going to drain this. And then to the cashews, I'm going to add some unsweetened almond milk. I'm just going to put this just to the top of them, because then to make this enchilada soup, we're going to add some green enchilada sauce. Okay, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of salt, maybe about a teaspoon, teaspoon and a half, and a couple tablespoons of nutritional yeast to give this like a cheesy, creamy flavor. We're going to puree this up and add it to our soup. Once I add this, I'm going to go ahead and taste it. If I think it needs some more of the enchilada sauce, I'll just add that right into our soup. And then I'll show you what it all looks like when it's all put together. All right, and here we have our creamy, delicious enchilada soup. I'm going to top mine with some vegan sour cream, fresh avocado, and cilantro, and serve it up with some tortilla chips. And that is going to be our soup for dinner tonight. Alright, I feel like it wouldn't be a fall soup video if it didn't include a chili. So today we're going to make a beer brat chili with our Beyond beer brat sausages. So to start off my chili, I just chop up 2 green bell peppers, 1 large onion, whatever onion you have. I happen to have a white one, so that's the onion we used today. And then a couple tablespoons of garlic in a pan with some olive oil. We're going to saute these down. But we're also going to add our spices at this point. I am not super technical with my chili when it comes to spices. I always just add to the veg, then when I get the liquid in, I taste and adjust as needed. So we're going to add salt. Black pepper. And you may be thinking, what have we done with all of this soup? Because there are only 3 of us in this house that actually eat it. And I've made a ton of soup this week, but we actually have frozen half of each batch. Soup is an excellent freezer meal. So even if you have a small family like I do, you can make all of these, put them in freezer bags or containers and just freeze them. We're gonna add some onion powder. Garlic powder. Chili powder, of course, right? Healthy dose of chili powder. And then I also have some hot Mexican style chili powder. I really like this. It adds a good kick to my chili. If you don't like your chili spicy, don't add it. Then we're also going to add a dash of cayenne pepper. And for the third pepper, we're going to add some white pepper. This just gives it really good kick and some dimension in the flavor with the different peppers. So I'm going to mix this up. We're going to let this saute for about 15 minutes, and then we will come back and add to our chili. Okay, so while our veggies are sauteing down and getting nice and smelly, I am going to slice these Beyond sausages into circles. Before I throw this in our chili, I'm just gonna get a good sear on them, and that's gonna help add a little flavor and help them stay together better in the chili as well. If you wanted to use the field roast or tofurkey brats, you could use those too, or you could omit this step. I'm a huge fan of the Beyond sausages. I think they have nailed the texture and the flavor, but feel free to use whatever your favorite is. Again, you could skip the meat alternative altogether if you don't like to use them and just do beans. So I'm just going to throw these into a saute pan with some olive oil until each side gets a sear. I will flip them with the tongs just to make sure both sides get a good little brown on them. And then we'll put them to the side until we're ready to add them into our chili. All right, our brats are over here cooking. Our veggies are nice and translucent and fragrant. Now it's time to add our beer. You can use any beer. You can use a cheap beer if you want. It doesn't matter. It's just going to add flavor. I'm using an Oktoberfest beer by New Glarus, which is a Wisconsin company. Because one, if I'm going to buy beer, I'm going to make sure it's something my husband enjoys. But two, it's Oktoberfest season and a perfect fall beer. And since we're going for fall soups, I thought it just made sense. So we're going to let this cook for another 10 minutes, cook some of the booze out of the beer, and then we'll add the rest of our components for our chili. All right, so now that our beer's had some time to cook down and our Beyond brats have gotten browned, I'm going to pour our tomato sauce into the brats just to make sure we get all of the brat juices out. This will loosen up anything that's stuck to the pan. And we're going to put 1 can of crushed tomatoes and all the brats into our chili pot. Make sure to scrape out all those little brown bits. Brown means flavor, so you don't want to leave it in the pan. Alright, and then to our chili pot, I'm also going to add 1 7-ounce can of green chilies. I got medium. You can get mild or spicy if you want. I like to go right in the middle because my 11-year-old likes a little bit of spice, but not a ton. And we have 1 14.5-ounce can of fire roasted diced tomatoes. That's just going to add a little good flavor. And then I have drained 1 can of black beans and 2 cans of kidney beans. And we are adding this in as well. Ooh, that pot is full. All right, and that's it. So we're going to let this cook for about an hour on low to simmer together, get all the good flavors. Then I'm gonna come back and taste it, and I'll adjust my seasonings to taste. Oh wait, I forgot something very important. We're also going to add 1 tablespoon of unsweetened cocoa powder. This is just gonna add some richness and some depth of flavor. You know what, this can's almost out. We're gonna add the rest. Especially since it's a vegan chili, so you don't have the beef flavors, this really adds to the depth without having to be meat. You can omit it if you think it's too weird, but I promise you, you'll like it. So we're just gonna let this cook, and then I'll come back and show you the toppings I use for my beer brat chili, because they're not your traditional chili toppings. Okay, so with the beer brat chili, my family likes to serve it up with some of this tofutti vegan sour cream, some diced raw onion, and then the very best part is some sauerkraut. If you've never tried sauerkraut on chili before and it sounds super weird to you, trust me, try it. It sounded weird to me too. Now it's my absolute favorite chili topping. And then we also like to eat ours with Fritos or tortilla chips. You can eat it with whatever you like, but that is dinner for tonight. All right, thank you so much for watching. If you got this far, go ahead and drop me a soup emoji down in the comments below, along with which one of the soups you're most excited to try. I can't wait to show you guys my first What I Eat in a Day video that's coming out this week. I had a crazy day of showings all day and then date night with my husband, so it was an interesting day of eating, to say the least. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed already and you want to see more of this content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss a single video. I do these What's for Dinner videos every single Tuesday, and I'll see you all in my next video. Thanks so much. Bye.